Hello everyone and welcome back to Age of Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age of Sigmar. And in this video we are going to continue today with more news, as this is the second video of the day, which is something I very rarely do. And as I can see from Games Workshop, they're doing 2 Warhammer community articles a day now by the looks of things for Age of Sigmar, which means you can expect my news videos to be roughly about this time forward in the evening, which means I can cover both articles that are released in one day in one whole video rather than having to do 2 separate videos, which I think will definitely be a better way to do it, and it saves a lot of time as well. But I was too excited to do the news for today's video, or to do a video on it, because it's all about the Kruleboyz. And if you know me, I am a big fan of this new army. So it says it's about the Kruleboyz and it's about the Orruck Warclans. As per usual, I haven't read through this yet, so you'll be getting my first-hand reaction and my review to see what we're going to read. So firstly, let me know your thoughts in the chat. As we're doing a live video, I thought, why not do a live one? It was weird for me enough to do 2 videos one day, so I do a live one. As yesterday, it was great. You guys asked loads of questions and told us your thoughts in the chat of the video. So make sure you do that this time if you'd like to, or leave any of your thoughts in the comments below. It'd be great to hear it. But as it says, discover how command abilities are the key to success with the Orruck Warclans in the new edition. So let's see how that is the case. It says, if you like the idea of cromping anything with a pulse, or even without a pulse for that matter, chances are you're a fan of the Orruck Warclans. Even if you're yet to meet these bestial warriors on the battlefield, it's good to know what you're up against when you finally do. In any case, you're definitely in the right place to learn more about what the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar has in store for the Orruck Warclans. Orruck Warclans, like I said, it's an army I don't personally own, but I have owned Iron Jaws in the past and still have a very few number of them for a Warcry warband, and it's an army that's very close to my heart without really having a full army of it. So it says, over the course of the coming days and weeks, we'll be bringing you a series of articles designed to be an introduction to the faction for newer players, while offering new tactical insights for more experienced players. Courtesies of one of our elite playtesters yesterday, we took a look at how the Stormcast Eternals are shaping up in the new edition, but today we're going green. So it's good that they're going to go very sustainability and push that sort of environmental protection aspect forward, which I'm sure Orruck Warclans are on board with. If you're interested in the Stormcast stuff, I did review it with Alex and Luke yesterday, so you can go check out that video yesterday and cover the new rules of magic and stuff. But in this one, like I said, it's all about the Orruck Warclans. So but before we hand you over to today's guest, let's have a little reminder about the faction itself. So who are the Orruck Warclans? So they're mean, they're green, and they love nothing more than a good old-fashioned scrap. Whether they're heavily armoured Iron Jaws, feral Bone Splitters, or they hail from the myriad other greenskin clans of the mortal realms, Orrucks are led into battle by the biggest and strongest amongst them. Once the Orruck leader has bullied enough warriors into following him, or has just gotten bored of waiting simply, he will launch a apologies how that was pronounced, a rampaging warpath that sweeps all before it in a tide of greenskins, and which in turn attracts others of their kind in a basically cycle of war and death. So essentially what it means is it's like a big snowball, a war. When it happens, it just rolls down, and the more momentum it gets, the more Orruck Warclans join it. Essentially, unlike, if we were to look at, a human crusade or something like that, you start off with a large amount of soldiers in an army, and then as the crusade goes on, you lose members, they die, and then by the end of it, your army is smaller than it was at the start. Very much the opposite with the Orruck Warclans. The more they fight, the bigger they get, and the more Orrucks join them. So the more they fight, the more dangerous they become, which is a really interesting aspect compared to our own. Lovely bit of artwork there, what we've seen before. So it says, Orrucks are renowned for their love of fighting, which they often effectively refer to as a cromping, or a bashing, and as such are blessed with a large variety of melee-focused infantry units which use either brute force or weight of numbers to overwhelm their enemies, Yet the Warclans are far from one-dimensional, and their most effective strategies are certainly more nuanced than simply charging full speed into combat, which is true, but you can have great fun with them by charging straight into combat. Most of the ways to be tactical and stuff with them, like with the Iron Jaws, is mainly just making some of their units doing extra damage and like getting them to charge in sooner, which I think sounds fun. So we've got Nathan Fee in the chat saying, great Gnash Tooth plus Maw Crusher in Great War confirmed. That would be awesome if that was the case. You have like a full mounted army for your big, the Great War, Big War. So it says, what about the Kruleboyz though? Because they are a bit different, because they are all about Mork, aren't they? So a lot more about the cunning side. And it says, the Kruleboyz are insidious greenskins, known for their exceptional cunning. They have lived in the swamp marshlands of Fondia for longer than anyone can remember, raiding under the cover of choking swamp mists. But with the return of Cragnus and the forces of destruction on the warpath, in Gur, the Kruleboyz have emerged from the soggy lands they call home in huge numbers to join in on all the fun, which I think sounds great. I think what I really like about the Kruleboyz, it just opens like a new theme for the Oryx, which I think they've done really well. So it says the new Kruleboyz are very much part of the Orruck Warclans. So if you want a mixed Orruck army or already have one, you can easily add the greenskins from the new Dominion box into your war. There will also be plenty more miniatures on the way to allow you to field full Kruleboyz armies if that's how you want to roll. Now, what they said at the end of the last article, so they'll have more units to show us. I think they said maybe tomorrow or some point later in the week they'll have more units to show us. So that means that not just the Troll and the Ballista that's coming out for the Kruleboyz, there will be more on top of that as well. So that is cool. We did kind of expect it, otherwise it's a very small army, like choices, but we have Iron Jaws, and perfect example of small unit selections. So nice bit of nice photo there. And then we have the, I don't know if they're all in coherency. Maybe not. We'll have to double check that. But so it says the Kruleboyz even have their own extra allegiance ability, Venom encrusted weapons, which is something they mentioned on the last article, which I said surely they have to show us what that is soon. Otherwise, it doesn't really make any sense. So good thing they're showing it now. So Venom encrusted weapons, which is every bit as nasty as it sounds. What's more, they gain this ability whether you field an army consistent exclusively of Kruleboyz or use them as part of a larger Orruck Warclans force. And I just want to say it's cool that you can definitely include them into your Iron Jaws and Bone Splitter arms. I think that's in a big war. Like, it's not in... I don't think it means that your Iron Jaws will, synergize with them really well, and your Bone Splitters synergize with them really well. I think it just means you can ally them into your Iron Jaws or Bone Splitters, but they will all go together in the same allegiance as the big war by how it sounds. And I just want to say on that note, I remember someone put a comment saying that he wasn't happy that the Kruleboyz are going the Orruck Warclans, because I think it's a good thing, because it means you can use them with your Iron Jaws and your Bone Splitters. But what that person said is it just means that they won't get their own battle tome, so they'll miss out on more backstory and more art, which is a solid point. But I'm happy for the current Orruck players who will be able to use them in their armies. But so the Venom encrusted weapons, let's talk about this. So if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by Kruleboyz Orruck model is at 6, that attack causes a number of mortal wounds to the target equal to the weapon's damage. Characteristic and the attack sequence ends. Do not make a wound or save roll. This ability has no effect on attacks made by a mount. Okay, so I get it. It doesn't affect by a mount. Don't think they have too many mount things, but you could make the Trolls Club have poison on it, and the claws of the you're in the chat to remember the name, the Gnash Tooth. So yeah, but I get it. And this is what I thought it would be when I read it in the last video, but I didn't want to speculate too much. But I was like, it didn't mention hit rolls, but it's usually what it is. So yeah, that's pretty solid. That's a lot more wound potential in this army, and we saw that with the Soulblight Gravelords. Although it's not as specifically built into the allegiance like it is here, the Soulblight Gravelords, a lot of their units can do more wounds on 6s and stuff. So looks like it's going to be a lot more mortal wounds going into 3rd edition. Which is true. And then Lily in the chat is saying, oh shit, I think they smear plants, rotten animals, or feces like in actual warfare. Yeah, it generally sounds like they do that, which I think is really cool. And it says like a lot more cunning sort of side rather than just brute force. So yeah, I like that. Sounds like a great ability. So yeah, big fan of that. It then says, but the other Oryx in the army have some new tricks too. To learn more about these tactics and how the new addition affects them, we'll hand you over to our playtester, Kieran Harper, who's been crumping heads with the Oryx since Warhammer Age of Sigmar was first launched. Cool. So let's see what Kieran has to say. So, Orruck Warclans really benefit from the changes in the new edition, especially command abilities. In the hero phase, Rally is a brilliant way to bring more lads back into the fray and can be a game changer for a big unit that's down to only a few models. So I'm just going to read the description of this to see if this is generically like a command ability or if it's one specifically for the Orruck Warclans. So it says Rally. So at a shouted command, injured warriors stagger back to their feet and prepare to fight once more. So this is going to be available to everyone by the looks of things. So it says you can use this command ability at the start of the hero phase. The unit that receives the command must be more than 3 inches from all enemy units. Roll 1 dice for each slain model from that unit. For each 6, you can return 1 slain model to that unit. Wow. That's good. Obviously, the more models you lost, the better. But that kind of takes the sort of like the wind out of the sails for the Flesh-Eater Courts being really unique there. But that's really good. I could see that. I know it's on its 6, but you know, let's say you got Gloomspite Gitz, you got a unit of like 60 grots, you lost 20. You know, there's a well, I suppose if you lost 20, there's only you're going to get 3 back or something. But what I'm trying to say is this is good. Obviously, it's incredibly swingy. You need to get 6s, but the day you get 6s for like a elite monstrous unit, that's going to be really, really good, like Ishin Guard or something like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know why it's specifically good for the Oryx, but you know, like I said, a good ability by the sounds of things, but he probably is going to explain it. And just want to say you can use his command ability. Okay, so I was wondering if they were changing the word command ability to just commands, but they mentioned command ability there, so that's fine. Anyway, it says there are a few command abilities that give some really nice defensive options, but one great one for the Savage Orc Arrow Boys is Unleash Hell. So this command ability, Unleash Hell. These warriors have prepared their missile weapons so they can unleash a devastating volley at last possible moment. So again, this is going to be a unique one to everyone, so that's cool. It says you can use this command ability after an enemy unit finishes a charge move. The unit that receives the command ability must be within 9 inches of that enemy unit and more than 3 inches from all other enemy units. The unit that receives the command ability can shoot in that phase, but when it does so, you must subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks, and it can only target the unit that made the charge move. It kind of sounds like they're introducing Overwatch into Age of Sigmar. I know it's not exactly Overwatch and it is different, but that's cool. So yeah, rather than having just like a few units specifically be able to like shoot in this sort of situation, being able to do it, yeah, so that's fine. Again, obviously, if it's like a really annoying shooting unit you're trying to get rid of, you don't only shoot in your army, the only way to get to it is engaged in combat. Is very annoying when it just shoots you, so it stops you getting to them. You know, it skinks and then they bugger off. So then the next thing is all-out attack and all-out defense also synergizes well with Orruck Warclan units. A bonus to hit in the shooting or combat phase or save rolls made for key units can make all the difference. So let's see if this has changed at all. So all-out attack is something we currently already have. So you can use this command ability when you pick a friendly unit to shoot in your shooting phase or fight in the combat phase. That unit must receive the command ability, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by the unit until the end of that phase. That's great. That's better than re-rolling 1s. But pardon me, what I will say is, from what I've heard, like, I don't know if this is official. I don't think it is yet, but from what I've heard, it's like apparently modifiers will only be able to be like +1 and -1. And you won't be able to go beyond that. So if you're getting add 1 to hit rolls here, you might have another way you can do it. So you might not need to spend the command point here because you won't get any benefit from it. But if you don't have another way to add one to hit rolls, then yeah, that's really quite good. And then Commandability all out defense. So you can use this Commandability when a friendly unit is picked as the target of an attack in the shooting phase or combat phase. So currently, I think it's just in the combat phase. That unit must receive the command, add one to the save rolls for attacks that target that unit until the end of that phase. Yeah, that's really good. Again, like Nagash on a 2-up save, other characters on an amazing good save as well, other units on a really good save. So yeah, that's solid. That's really good. Okay, and then we have a Warscroll. So although I put this in the thumbnail of the video, I haven't actually read it yet, so I'm quite interested. But they do say just before that, Kieran has said, on the flip side, you really need to think about Battle Shock now, as only one unit can benefit from Inspiring Presence command ability. Fortunately, the new killer boss with Stab Grot has an ability that will help with this, all part of the plan. I don't remember reading that a unit can only benefit from one command. Like you can only use the command ability in one unit, or maybe that's just Inspiring Presence. Unless there's something I missed. If that's something I missed, let me know. But okay, because I was thinking Battle Shock was not a problem at all for anyone because you can just do Inspiring Presence as much as you like. But if you can only put it on one unit, then yeah, Battle Shock's seriously taking a bit of a turn. If that is the case, but if that is the case, I'm happy because I think Battle Shock should play more of a part in Age of Sigmar rather than everyone just ignoring it. But going on with a killer boss, so we've got the Warscroll here. So he's got a 5-inch movement, a 4+ save, a bravery 7 and 6 wounds. Yeah, he's all right. You can't really expect him to have a better save than a 4+, to be honest. With the lack of armor and everything. He's a bit slow though, 5 inches. I would have liked him to be faster, but he has got very short legs, so it does make sense. But it says for his description, a killer boss with Stag Grot is armed with one of the following weapon options: Boss Hacker and Rusting Flail, or Boss Hacker and Scares Shield. So the save characters of a killer boss with Stag Grot armed with a Boss Hacker, sorry, it's a bit smaller to read, and a Scar Shield is a 3+ instead of a 4+. Okay, so it is a 3+. So you can expect this guy to be a 3+. What was I talking about? But presumably, obviously, when the what's he called? A Stab Grot? I was going to call him a Kick Grot, but no, it's a Stab Grot. Obviously, when he goes, bad times. So companion. So this killer boss is accompanied by a Stab Grot that attacks with its prize Shiv. The Stab Grot must remain within 1 inch of the killer boss. For the rule purposes, the killer boss and Stab Grot are treated as a single model. And then going on to the melee weapons. So the Boss Hacker, so no matter which way you equip this guy, you will have this. Is 1 attack, 1 inch range, 4 attacks, freeze and freeze, -1, 2 damage. So that's cool, like the same as the Stormcast character. But joking aside, that is that's not bad. I mean, obviously, 3 damage would be great, but you're not going to get that on this, and you're not going to get better hitting and wounding, for an Orruck. So the Rusting Flail is a 2-inch range, 2 attacks, freeze and freeze, -1, 1 damage. So with that, I was expecting to give this guy the shield anyway, because I think the shield looks cooler than the flail, and I'm glad to hear that the Rusting Flail is not that good. I mean, it's not bad, but at most you'll do 2 damage to the enemy, like on average, maybe 1. With it. So the prize Shiv is a 1-inch range, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage, but at least it's 3 attacks from that little guy, so that's pretty cool. So I would love him to have -2 rend, just for the hell of it, that he's got a better rend than his boss. But anyway, on to the ability. So all part of the plan. So if a friendly Kruleboyz unit fails a Battle Shock test within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability, only 1 model from that unit will flee. That's pretty cool. So it's not reduced like the number of models that flee from that unit by 1, because if Battle Shock's going to be a big thing. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. It's not a command ability or anything, so yeah, that's cool. And then the next ability is you hold them off. So each time a wound or mortal wound is allocated to this unit and not negated, you can choose to risk this unit's Stab Grot. If you do so, you must roll a dice. On a 1 to 5, the Stab Grot is killed and the wound is negated. But on a 6, the Stab Grot is not killed and the wound is negated. If the Stab Grot is killed, the model representing it is removed from play before the wound is negated. So that's cool. So we see how that plays into it, shall we say. like how he helps to keep him alive. So I think I read the first bit wrong, didn't I? So the save characters will kill a boss with a stab grot, armed with a boss hacker and scare shield. Oh, okay. That's why I thought the stab grot gave him the 3+ save, because the whole model is called a killer boss with stab grot. So no, it's just if he was given the shield, which like I said, I would give him. I was wondering why we didn't read that over here, like in the ability. So no, that makes sense. Yeah, so he's not bad. The only thing he adds to your army is the battle shot thing, though. So that is kind of a problem. Like, he's not as good as the Stormcast character, I'd say, that we saw. But then again, we don't know the points. But like I say, let me know in the chat and in the comments what you think about him. So it said, monster riding heroes are going to be a very important part of the Orruck Warclan armies. Not only can Gordrak and a Mega Boss and Maulcrusher make use of the command abilities mentioned above, their impact on the battlefield has been turned up to 11 in the new edition. They're often vital in scoring objectives and battle tactics too. Is there a better monster to have on your side than a Maulcrusher or two? Or maybe Kragnus, the end of Empire, like Marathi, rather have my side. Countless others, like Maulcrusher's good, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, I don't. Do they even know this game that they create? Is my question to Games Workshop. But you know, here we are. So it says, who you can always bring in for even more might, and with your opponent likely to be taking advantage of the new rules for monsters, he'll be doubly useful as he's an expert at crushing monstrous skulls. I presume that means about Kragnus. So the biggest winners. So there are a number of units available to the Orruck Warclans that will benefit greatly from the new edition updated rules. Here, Kieran picks his top 3 most improved units and breaks down the reasons why. So firstly, a Mega Boss on Maulcrusher. Just trying. Oh no, they've made a mistake. They've copied and pasted this. They just copy and paste. So Chuck was the guy who did the Stormcast stuff, but obviously they care so much for the playtesters that they forgot and just copy and pasted the wrong name over. So that's interesting. But you know, honestly, so one way for opponents to deal with this beast is to shoot him down before he gets into their units and starts bashing. The all-out defense command ability lets you protect this key model by further boost units already formidable survivability opponents shooting phase to tip the balance in your favor. So then he has a 2-up save, I believe. So yeah, that I get that. So that makes the Maulcrusher pretty survivable. And that's so thank you, Kieran / Chuck. I just want to say that we've got Jerome 1, I think that's how you pronounce your name, mate, saying a good day to all. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining and watching us. And let us know your thoughts about what we're reading here about all these Orruck Warclans. So then the Savage Orc. So Kieran / Chuck then goes on to say that more monsters mean more bonus points to be had for killing them. This is a bread and butter for bone splitters, whose monster hunters allegiance abilities will really come to the fore here. A couple of units of Orruck, Savage Orruck, Arrow Boys, and Big Stabbers will likely become a staple of both Big War and Bone Splitter armies now. I could see it. I mean, I think when they were, you know, the monster abilities you get now and the heroic action abilities you get, I feel like when they're trying to make them sound amazing, I feel like the hero ones are better. So for hero monsters, yeah, you'll see more of those. But I think just overall saying, like, you know, there's going to be so many Hydras on the table now. I don't think that's the case. But Arrow Boys will get the bonus against monsters, presumably. And then we've got Thomas Berg saying they have fixed the name now. Okay, that's good. It's just a bit. I know it's only a little thing. It's very like picky of me to mention it, but I'm going to be picky. And I just, you know, it's not very nice for Kieran to feel like that's how much time and effort they put into remembering him. So then we go on to the Wargog Prophet. So I'll change it to Kieran now. So Kieran, a key unit in the Bone Splitters armies, the Wargog Prophet, can be enhanced with extra spells to make him even more powerful. The newly updated chromatic cogs, trying to remember how you pronounce it, in the spell can give him and all other wizards within 6 inches an extra chance sorry, an extra casting chance too. Okay, so maybe instead of the reroll saves it used to do for the caster. So let's see what it says, because this is one of the best spells in the game. Like literally, it's one of the, I don't know, top 5 spells easy for any army. So what it says is when this endless spell is set up, the commanding player must decide if it is increasing or decreasing the flow of time. If it is increasing the flow of time, add 1 to charge rolls for units wholly within 18 inches of this endless spell. Cool, it's been nerfed. So it used to be every unit on the table got +2 to its move and charge, which made it absolutely bonkers. However, you gave the benefit to your opponent as well, which is where the flip side was. So it wasn't too powerful. At some situations, yes, but it wasn't too powerful mainly because your opponent benefited from it as well. But no, they've nerfed it completely. But your shaman in your Kruleboyz is giving your guys +1 to charge with his ability, and then this, so that's an extra +2 could be. So it says if it is decreasing the flow of time, wizards can attempt to cast 1 extra spell in their commanding player's hero phase while they are within 6 inches of this endless spell. At the start of the hero phase, if there is a friendly wizard within 6 inches of this endless spell, the player whose turn is taking place can change whether the endless spell is increasing or decreasing the flow of time. Okay, so when you add 1 to the charge rolls for units that are wholly within 18 inches of this endless spell, that does benefit the enemy as well. So there is that still trade-off, but it's not nearly as good towards the enemy. And because you can try to attempt to cast 1 extra spell, I think that's a lot better than the reroll saves it used to give you for slowing down time. So the decrease in the flow of time has got a lot better, but the speeding time up has not got has got worse basically. But it's got good in the way that it's not going to benefit your opponent as much, but it still will benefit them. So decreasing's got better, increasing's got worse, but decreasing casting extra spells, like honestly, that's great. You have to be within 6 inches of it, but that's not too hard. So yeah, they've basically nerfed this spell with its movement capabilities, but then made it more powerful again in its spellcasting abilities. So Beastie in the chat is saying, what does everyone make to the Kruleboyz boss then? So I thought I liked him, but he doesn't really add anything to your army apart from keeping things from running away in Battle Shock. That's my thoughts on it. So we've got the cogs, and then he's going on to say that Bone Splitter spells boost your basic units, so more chances to cast them will open up some nice options for you, the army. So that's cool. Then it says, thanks for your insights, Kieran. So they put a name down there, but if you like the idea of beating your opponents into submission, by which we mean their armies, don't physically beat them, obviously, and drowning them, again, their armies, beneath a green tide, then the Orruck Warclans are right up your street. Pick up their Battlestone and start collecting the box today. Not doing their something about, okay, I will read the rest of that because I glanced Laser Darkness. Buy their stuff, basically, is what they're saying. And join us again tomorrow when we'll be looking at how the Slaves of Darkness are shaping up. Now, that's something I'm much more interested in. Like I said, I love Orruck Warclans, but I don't play them. So Slaves of Darkness, though, have a huge amount of them. So massive fan. That's been so much time. So that'd be cool to see. It says lots of the endless spells have been updated for the new edition. Clearly, the winds of magic are swelling through the mortal realms. Cool. And then that kind of gives me hope that what we read yesterday in the endless spells isn't as crazy as we thought it could be. But yes, so that is my thought. So what do you guys think in the chat? So Neil saying poor Stab Grot. I mean, yeah, the Stab Grot has always had it coming, didn't he? I mean, when his name is Stab, that doesn't necessarily that means he'll be always doing the one who's stabbing and not the enemy doing it to him. But we've got Cameron saying, so you just pile all your wizards next to it and get a bunch of free casts. Yes, that's exactly what you do. But again, we don't know the points for this thing, for the cogs, if it's going to change. And if the enemy brings the comet down, that's going to really hurt you, the Stormcast comet. So just bear that in mind, that sometimes when you group up, then all like endless spells that do like aura damage, or like, I don't know, Manfred's on casting spell, Winds of Death that does like an aura damage. It's like sometimes it's a bad idea to cast swap, but in this case, yeah, that's what you do, and you get all those free casts. BC saying, has anyone ever told you that you look like Bruce Wayne. Just putting it out there. I haven't been told that, but I will take that as a compliment. So thank you very much. And with that lovely note, let's end the video there before anyone says anything nasty. But no, so let me know your thoughts again in the comments. Watching this on demand. Thank you everyone for joining the chat. It's great to hear what you think as well when reading through this. So much more interesting than the Stormcast stuff. God. And yeah, so with that, guys, if you did enjoy the video, please do me 3 really easy things that are absolutely free to do so. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, smash the bell notification. So by smashing the like button, it shows to me that you enjoy this sort of content. So Orruck Warclans news, AOS 3rd edition, if you want to see more stuff on that, like this video. If you subscribe to the channel, that's how the channel grows at the end of the day. And we're getting closer and closer to 6,000 now, which I'm like over the moon with just seeing that number getting closer and closer. And I know so many of you have been subscribing more and more, so that's been absolutely amazing. But like I always say, only 1/5 of the people who watch the channel subscribe. So if you all subscribe, it'd be an incredible number. So if you haven't already, please press the subscribe button. By pressing the bell notification means you never miss one of my future videos. So if you're enjoying all this new stuff, it means you'll know straight away when I'm doing a new video, particularly if it's a live video and it's like you want to join in that moment if you can. So then you get involved in the chat. Make sure you press the bell notification. If you want to share this video and you feel like someone else will enjoy it, make sure you share it with them. And if you want to join the buzzing community we have in the Age of Nagash Discord, make sure to click the link to take you to my Discord in the description of this video, where we have new people joining all the time who are even maybe new to AOS as well. And then they get loads of help there. There's loads of painting stuff, gaming tips, and loads and loads and loads of talk that I can't even keep up with all on the news about Warhammer Age Sigmar. So join that if you'd like to. And the last thing I'd like to say is going to be a massive shout out to my YouTube members and my patrons who, if you're unaware, if you click the join button next to the subscribe button, it'll allow you to become an Age of Nagash member, where you can give just that next level of support. That means that you can give anything from £1 to the channel. And it honestly is the reason how the channel keeps going. So I always say the amount of money, resources, and mainly time you put into YouTube, none of it's profitable. You don't make, you know, any profit out of this or any money, basically, when you look at how much you put into it. But what these people allow me to do is justify everything I put into my channel. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be watching this video today, and I wouldn't be able to justify making this channel. So if you'd like to become one of these amazing people, click the join button to become a member today of Age of Nagash, or there's a link to my Patreon on the top of the description down below, where you can give anything from just $1 a month. Honestly, sounds small, but it goes a huge way to keeping the channel going. And the people who made that amazing decision, I haven't got their names on the screen, but I will read them out because they really do deserve it. Even though I did this literally about an hour ago, but they honestly deserve it, you know, more than I can do in a day. So my top support is going to be my Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, who is Filq. Filq has given me the highest level of support. It's amazing how much generosity this guy has. So thank you so much for keeping that up, mate. It really does make a huge difference. And then my Morgasts, who is Bleed Red, who's been supporting me as a Morgast for a long time. So thank you very much as well. And my Vampires, who are Mir, Stence, Raz321, David A, Dragoonity. I think I did that better than last time. Ronni H, Darren L, SpareBear, Christopher H, Northdrop, Nathan F, Andrew G, Ben C, and Wiggy Whooty. So thank you all to my Vampires for doing such a great job as the core that keeps Age of Nagash going. So thank you all so much. And then my Necromancers, who is Jacq.l, RadiationRiley, AW77, Dice Sagas, WolfNick, Michal W, Cranky Wombat, Madcap, Christopher C, Krista F, James S, Thomas B, Steve T, James T, Patrick F, JJ, R Christopher, and Sception. Thank you all so much for allowing the channel to keep going and help me get as many people into Age of Sigmar and to help them with the Age of Sigmar journey, to help spread the community that we all love and enjoy at the end of the day. And if anyone would like to become one of these amazing people, click the join button to become a member, or click the link to my Patreon down below. But if you can't do that, no worries at all. But if you did enjoy the video, all I ask you, smash the like, subscribe, and bell notification. 3 buttons all next to each other. Absolutely free to do so. Would be amazing. But above anything else, guys, I'm just glad that you came and checked out my video today. You know, hats off to you if you watched my one from about an hour ago as well. That'd be amazing. Shows your level of support. But I hope you enjoy it. And obviously, there's going to be lots more news to come, and that will be, as it has been, the predominant part of this channel going forward, because I want to cover this news as much as possible, and there's only so many videos I can do. I mean, it sounds like I'll be doing a video a day, like the best I can going forward. But with that, guys, I'm going to hope that you have a great rest of your day. Just going to see if we've got anything left in the chat. And the bestie saying, seeing you around, Mikey. So see you guys later as well. See you later, bestie. Thank you for joining the chat. Remember till next time, guys, to stay safe, wear a mask, stay hygienic, make sure that you wash your hands, for God's sake, so by the time the Kruleboyz come out, you can actually use them with clean hands, despite them living in a bog. and you paint them up that way, they don't actually want to have, you know, dirty hands on them, and means you roll your dice better if you wash your hands, which is true, 100% true. And above anything else, guys, remember until next time that Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash.